vintage Chevrolet. What a belter that is. With all the accessories, the lights, the sun visor. Arch rivals in the day. Triumph Dolomite. Matra Marina. Very sleek car indeed. One of Dagenham's finest. Quite a late one on an H plate, so about 1970. The perfect day for it. Built in Bradford. Followed by Triumph Stag. Oh, look at this wonderful flat tank Royal Enfield. What a neat instrument binnacle in the corner of a garage propping the wall up. Harley's being interviewed for the commentary. That great 122S 55 Chevrolet Bel Air. Glorious AC Ace. Morning all, welcome to All Classic Car. It is a Sunday morning and we are prepping the V8 Pilot to head over to Capesthorne Hall for just a second time this year. Usually we pile into the MX-5, but all three of us are going this time, so we decided why not take the V8 Pilot. So that is exactly what we're going to do. This will probably be the longest trip we've done in this one so far. We've done a few runs down to Slape, the airfield down in Shropshire. We went to the Three Greyhounds a month or two back, which are also fairly long runs, but this will probably be the longest run, so it'll be a really good test of the old V8. So all we need to do is prep it up, connect the battery, prime up the fuel, fire her up, check everything that's inside, the chairs and so on, and then we're going to head over to Capesthorne Hall and see what's going to turn up today. Well folks, we have made it here to Capesthorne Hall in sunny Cheshire, probably the longest run we've actually done in the V8 Pilot. The weather is meant to be okay today, there's a little bit of low cloud around, but I think we'll be fine, and because we're in something much older than usual, we are right down here close to the arena, so we've got a prime viewing position for all the cars that are going to be going into there a bit later. So I think probably what we'll do now is amble up towards the entrance and just get ready for some of the cars arriving. What a lovely vintage Chevrolet. Whisper quiet. '68 Ford Mustang. There are a few other cars here already here at Capesthorne Hall. We'll have a proper look around here just a little bit later once it's a little bit busier, and as always we will be prioritising the older cars in the videos that we do. Harley's doing a video for his Car Traction channel. This obviously is the Old Classic Car channel. Minis arrive, two at a time.
Are you both together? Yeah, no worries at all.
Mazda MX-6, it's a rare sight now. Oh, the good old Ford Pop, all 1172cc of it. What a great example that is. Followed by a magnificent Mercedes Fintail. Mercedes-Benz is the featured marque today, I believe, in front of the main house. And hopefully we'll see lots more like that. And there we have a Vauxhall Victor, the FC, or the Victor 101, as it was also known back in the day, in the mid-1960s. The BMW Z3M takes on the speed hump of doom. Well, the classic cars are starting to arrive in greater numbers now. There's a little midget, a bonny little Mini from the 1990s, and a midget 1500 powered by the 1500cc Triumph engine that dates all the way back in smaller form to the early 1950s and the Standard 8. The 124 series Cabriolet, followed by the W126, the SEC two-door coupe version of the mighty S-Class of the 1980s. Next over the cattle grid is this epic Ford Thunderbird, early 1960s. Here we have a recreation of the famous Austin Healey. The V8 Burble of another magnificent Mustang. Mercedes 190E, followed by the Riley 1.5. What a belter that is. MGB debumpered. And just purring into view, I can see an H registration XJ40. MGTF. Next up, following several modern Mercedes, we have this classic Mercedes, the Federal American spec version of the SL. Left-hand drive, big bumpers, rare sight that this side of the pond. Granada Estate, followed by another 124 series convertible. It's a Mark II Ford Consul with all the accessories, the lights, the sun visor, the windscreen pillar mounted lamp as well. And then we've got an MG behind that with a very appropriate registration. V8 powered 8 Series BMW, so I'm assuming that's an 840. Yeah, 840 Ci. There was also the 850 with a V12 engine. We're good to see a nice older Mercedes here as well. This one from 1965, the Pagoda SL. What a beautiful looking car that is. Isn't that just glorious? Hopefully that'll be parking up in front of the main house. Oh, look at this Pontiac Firebird. Oh, I do like some of these late 60s muscle cars. That is glorious. I like Mustangs, but I really like that. Reminds me of the old Lesney toy, one of those I used to have back in the 70s. And there's a Triumph TR3A hot on the Pontiac's tail. I haven't seen one of these for a while, a Lancia Beta Monte Carlo. Next to negotiate the cattle grid here at Capesthorne, a lovely chrome bumper MGB GT. Ooh, and more classic Americana. Is that a Camaro? That is very nice. Camaro drop top. This is a Challenger RT. But really catching my eye is this magnificent Chevrolet from 1955. A beautiful wagon. That is fantastic. Regulars to the channel will know I do have a soft spot for old estate cars and station wagons, and that's the car of the day so far for me at this early hour. That is just incredible. And we've got a Corvair, the Corvair van with added windows. But yeah, that Bel Air wagon, that really is just phenomenal. A sudden rush of cars. We've got an Alfa Romeo Spider there, the 2000 twin cam. Two Mercedes-Benz SLs, the R107 and the slightly later R129, followed by an early Ford Focus. BMW Z3 with luggage rack. Arch rivals in the day, the Triumph TR6, MGB Roadster, fairly late chrome bumper car, another R107 SL Mercedes. So yeah, good turnout of Mercs expected today. And arriving from a southerly direction, we have quite an early Triumph Dolomite. Pair of Scimitars, the SE6A, followed by the Scimitar GTC. BMW Z3, roof down, that's what we like to see. Ford Escort RS 2000, we like a bit of that as well. Make that two RS 2000s. And the Mark 1 Escort with bubble arches. MX5, Matra Marina. Another immaculate dolly. A super early little Beetle. The pop-up semaphore indicator popped out. There we go. What a beauty that is. Oval window job, 6 volt. Very nice too. I do like those early V-dubs. Nissan Figaro. Got a Dodge A100 camper here. Oh, I like that. This is the A34. 33 years ago I used to be up and down here every week going to and from Stafford Poly in my A40 and the first of the Spitfires, the Mark III. I never thought, nearly 35 years later, I'd be stood at the side of the road here filming classic cars arriving for an event like this. Here we have a Marcos, a fairly early example. Early ones of those used to have a wooden chassis and Volvo engine. Very similar engine to that in the P1800S Coupe. Later ones were Ford powered. Very sleek car indeed. It wouldn't be much of a classic car show if there wasn't at least one Morris Minor here. Here we've got a Series 2 coming in hot. MGBs as well are very popular at all the classic car events we get to, and rightly so. Great cars they are. Really good classic car choice, that one. One of Dagenham's finest, the Mark I version of the Ford Consul. That is a lovely car. I think the first time I saw that was at Avro Heritage at one of the classic car events there. That is lovely. Great to see another 50s Ford here. I'm starting to see Rover 75s more and more often at these events now. I guess these are almost the last gasp of the once famous Rover name. There's the MG version of the Rover 75, the MG ZT, followed by another Rover 75 there. Now here's a real rarity, a Toyota Crown. Not just any old Crown, but the Crown Estate. Welsh registered. I think we've seen this one at the North Wales Classic Car Show if I remember correctly, but it's a very rare sight now. Another great example of the W124 Mercedes E-Class. Real quality car they are. I've had 4 estate car versions of those over the years and they are really, really nice with very few weaknesses. Just make sure that you lubricate the single windscreen wiper because they can seize up. There's a 190E hot on its tail. Pottering into view, another one of Alec Isagonis' finest, the Morris Minor. Very nice too. It's quite a late one on an H plate, so about 1970. Triumph TR3A. And representing the cars that used to be everywhere but are no longer. 5-door Nissan Bluebird, an immaculate example in white there. Later Mustang, and an Esprit Turbo there, the Lotus Esprit. There's the mid-engined MGF, we had the later TF, and this is the car that came before. Couldn't be anything else but the little Morris Minor Traveller. Ooh, a 6-cylinder Triumph Vitesse convertible, very nice too, perfect day for it, very nice. Alpha GTV, very nice, one of the 105 series cars. I know someone who's going to like that one. What a great car. The Jowett Jupiter no less. Wow. Built in Bradford, late 40s, beginning of the 1950s. Pretty much the same engine I believe is fitted to the Jowett Javelin saloon. These were really sporty little cars for the post-war era. Whole front end lifts up on those, rear hinge bonnet. MR2 Mark 1, Mark 2 Ford Escort 4-door, Jaguar Mark 2 in gunmetal. That's more Ecuria Cost Blue, that one, isn't it? The metallic colour. Very swish indeed. We've seen Morris Minors with the A-Series engine, and here is a little Frog Eye Sprite, the Austin Healey Sprite Mark 1. Introduced in the late 50s with the 948cc version of that engine. Two-door BMW E3, the 3 Series car of the 1980s. Something very orange. This is a much modified Comma Cob van, if I remember right. Yeah. Bit of classic Jaguar action here in XJ Series 1 on a K-plate. XJ6 with a Webasto roof. 4.2 litre XK engine, followed by a Triumph Stag with its 3 litre V8. What a great pair of British classics there. We need decent eyesight for this. I think we have an Opel Manta signalling to come in now. We do indeed. Is it the fastback or is it the coupe? That's the only question. It is the coupe. The Manta 1.8S Berlinetta. Lots of boring cars, but behind them is this. Now what is this? Is this the little VW, the Brazilian built VW sports car, the VW powered sports car, the Puma? I'm pretty sure that is a Puma. And that's a special import job all the way from Brazil. Now there's something you don't see every day, the Rover 800 here in hatchback form, the 5-door hatch. Followed by a Boxster. Maybe the last good looking BMW, and 20 years old now, 20 plus. A lovely E39 5 Series. Still a good looking car, I think. Behind the Saxo we have a V8 powered Rover P6. Good to see one of those here today. Nice dark green one. What a sound. Ooh, a Triumph Spitfire. That's very nice. A Spitfire 1500, same engine. There's a rubber bumper midget we saw, and look at this, the E3 BMW series, a saloon of the early 1970s. It's at a 3.3 Li. It is top of the range of the E3s of the early 70s. A mate of mine's dad used to have a 3 litre S, one of those. Rare car, and that's a contemporary of the E9 coupes that we sometimes see at these events, but the saloons, I'm sure, are a fair bit rarer even than the E9 coupes now. That's great to see that one here today. I've never seen that before. Now, earlier than the TR3A is this, a TR2. That's the car that you very rarely see.
Finally, on this note,
another magnificent station wagon, this a Mercury. Isn't that great? No trouble at all with the speed hump of doom. Look at this little Ford 100E. Now this is a Squire. The slightly earlier Squires were differentiated from the 100E Escorts by like fake wood down the side, but the later Squires did away with that, and that's what we're looking at there. The trike looks a bit drafty today. Field is certainly filling up nicely now. Fairly late registered example of the Ford Escort Mark II is next. This one a 2-door car. Land Rover Series 3, roof down. The best 4x4 by far. 6-cylinder XJ, one of the X300 series cars, so the immediate predecessor to our X308. First W123 series E-Class Merc of the day. Heading down towards the main hall, I suspect. There's a big parking area just for classic Mercedes over there. Here's a very intriguing little special based on Triumph running gear. Oh, here's a nice one. The Volvo Amazon 1967 two-door 122S. I do like those. Talbot Sunbeam Lotus. Riley RM. Followed by Morgan. I've seen this one at the Swettenham Arms evening meet.
To a house that looks the same.
E-Type Series 3.
It's called On the Road. Just
Another example of the Triumph TR3A.
I am taking patient. I'm too. Will you rise? Or won't you hurry up?
Well folks, I guess it's time to start having a bit of a wander around at some of the parked up classics here at Capesthorne Hall. We have the Cheshire Classic Car Club here on pole position as always. They always have a real variety of cars, so we'll just have a quick scoot round here, and like I say, we will prioritise the older ones. A pretty groovy looking Mark 1 Capri there, the Aston, the Pontiac Firebird here, the TVR Chimera, the Mercedes, no shortage of Mercs here today, the big Triumph 2.5S, I think this one is, the 2.5 litre straight six, Lotus XL, the Austin Healey 3000, it's a handsome machine, two-tone, it's a nice early one. Sometimes I talk about the wind-up windows and a different profile at the top of the doors, and here we can see one of the earlier cars. These have, I think, the clip-in side screens, but I just love the way the door wraps over and curves around, and then that continues along the top of the dash on these earlier cars. It's much straighter, much blockier on the later 3000s with the wind-up windows, which are more practical, of course, but visually I prefer the earlier ones. Here, Ford Mustang with a 289 V8 in it, the Porsche Boxster, and on the end here, very, very clean Jaguar X-Type Estate. An interesting car, not so many good ones of these around now. Yeah, very nice. Just have to check the sills on these behind those plastic covers because they can virtually disappear without you realising. There's always an assortment of motorbikes, old and new, here at Capesthorne. I don't profess to know a great deal about them, but we'll have a quick look anyway. We've got a Royal Enfield Meteor, one of the later Indian-built Royal Enfields. There's that pretty bonkers trike and an Indian alongside it. Look at this beautiful BMW. We saw this one riding in before with a very distinctive boxer engine. One cylinder poking out of either side of the crankcase. Yeah. What a belter that is. Like I say, I don't know much about these, but I know a nice looking bike when I see one.
So hopefully we have the hallmark of a good event.
And look at this wonderful flat tank Royal Enfield here. Well over 100 years old, this one I'm sure, but what a beauty that is. Look at the handlebars, and nickel plated handlebars on here. Amazing. They've got the little hand operated klaxon horn just down there. So we've got twin cylinders, Lodge plugs in each. The old pink Lodge spark plugs. And there's the magneto at the back there. That provides a spark to those fat Lodge C3 spark plugs. Yeah. Very cool old bike, this one. I'm sure Harley spotted this one already. Yeah, I do like that a lot. There's another Royal Enfield alongside that, engine enclosed, so you can't see a great deal of the oily bits. There's a carburettor hung out the front there in the airflow. A little Amal. We've got some later machines along here, Yamaha, a very racy looking Bull Taco, and a Ducati. So this end of the field is for the older cars, hence us being here in the 1950 V8 Pilot. So let's see what else is here. Quite a few Triumph TR3As in attendance today. This one has been recently restored. Oh, the blue one, sorry. It's been very recently restored. Very nice too. Let's just have a quick peek under the bonnet of this one. Absolutely immaculate. Look how clean and tidy that is. I certainly won't be lifting the bonnet up on the V8 Pilot after seeing this here. Yeah, lovely proper early SUs. Yeah, very nice. Famous standard Triumph 4-cylinder engine. Variant of that ended up under the bonnet of the standard Vanguard and even the grey Fergie Tractor in differing states of tune and carburation and so on. So yeah, it's a very versatile, very dependable old 4-cylinder engine, that one. Yeah, what a beauty. And over here with the bonnet raised, we have this Austin Healey Sprite. Now this is unusual. It's got a fiberglass front on it because the bonnets on these are usually rear hinged. This one has been modified to make it open like a Spitfire or a Triumph Herald. But usually these bonnets are hinged at the back there on the bulkhead, lift that way, and you have to cram your head under there to do any work. So this actually makes it a whole lot easier to do some work on. Got some heat shielding here added, just to protect the carburetor float chambers from the heat of the exhaust manifold directly behind. I've done similar things on our cars just to try and keep the heat away from the float chambers because it can lead to fuel vaporization. So yes, this one's had quite a few modifications. At first glance it looks pretty standard, even down to those lovely steel wheels. But yeah, the bonnet up, you can see that a very different job has been done with the bonnet of this, and it certainly makes the access a whole lot easier, the bonnet opening this way round. Regulars on the channel will know I am fond of a pre-war car, and it is the older cars that we will be focusing on mainly here today at Capesthorne. Look at this, straight 6-cylinder engine, overhead valve, probably late 1920s I would have thought. We've got an AC fuel pump down there. There's a starter down there. Tiny little distributor. Yep, 6-cylinder, overhead valve, very smooth. It sounded whisper quiet when it pulled in before. Lovely car. I do like these old saloons. Chevy, of course, was a rival for the Dodge, like the one we used to have just until a couple of years ago. But I could be very tempted with a vintage. Actually, I can see the window is open, so let's have a peer inside. Yep, so we've got rear hinge doors at the back. Regular forward hinge doors at the front, very similar to the Model A actually. This angle, the scuttle, even down to this moulding on here, is very, very similar to the Ford Model A. But this is definitely a Chevrolet. We'll have a quick peek inside through here. Very similar aftermarket indicator switch to that fitted to our Dodge pickup back at home. Yeah, very nice, sumptuous, what is it, cloth or velour interior. Yeah, it's just beautiful in here. I do like that one. Yeah, what a glorious car. You don't see too many pre-war Chevrolets at these events, but that is magnificent. Here we've got a 65 Austin Healey Sprite. Got another Austin Healey Sprite Mark 1 over here. This one in British Racing Green. Got a Mark 2 Sprite there. And here we have the Jowett Jupiter with its bonnet raised. This is how the bonnet would have raised on that Frog Eye that we were looking at just a moment ago. So there's the Jowett Boxer engine under there. This one's got an oil cooler added to it. Yeah. Interesting accessibility. You'd want to wear a padded hat every time you worked on one of these because you'd be banging it all the time, I imagine. gearboxes were a bit of a weak spot on some of the Jowetts post-war, the Javelin in particular. There were all sorts of warranty claims for breaking gearboxes, and that's probably one of the things that did for Jowett in the end. It's such a shame because they did produce some really innovative little cars, and these were really popular on like the Monte Carlo Rally, that kind of thing, a sporting car of the post-war era. And here we have the Ford Pop 103E TSG 715, still got its original registration number. We like that. So this was based on the E494A Anglia, just like the grey one we used to have. You might have seen that on the channel before. But this had the slightly larger engines, a little bit more basic than the Pop. The Anglia rather. The Anglia had the Bakelite dashboard, but it also had the smaller 8-horse engine. This had the slightly larger 10-horse engine, as also fitted to the Citroen Ami Prefect, the 4-door Prefect saloon. Yeah, these had a basic metal dash. So there were a few differences compared to the earlier Anglia, but at first glance it looks very, very similar. This one has been upgraded with a proper boot handle. They didn't usually have those. They used to just have little budget locks that you flip the lid up and you had like a little T key and you'd open the boot that way. But there was no way of locking it. But of course things were a lot less, people were a lot more trusting back in the 1950s. This one, still original registration, original Ace number plate as well. So we do like that kind of thing. Painted bumpers on these. The Anglia before, they had chrome bumpers. A few extra little bits of bright work, but not much. And the Anglia had slightly larger headlamps. These are quite small butler lamps on these. But yeah, this is a beauty, this one. Cobra replica takes it easy over the bumpy field. Citroen BX, a white one here. The owner of this has a Renault 4CV that we have seen on one or two occasions. Woodford, the Avro Heritage Museum Classic Car Meet, that one springs to mind. Haven't seen it for a little while, so hopefully we'll see it again before too long. Very nice, unusual car. Got another frog-eyed there. The Rolls Royce, is this the Silver Dawn? I think, oh, there we go. I think this is a Silver Dawn, but I could be wrong. I think it is. A bit narrower than a lot of the post-war Rolls Royces that you see. Here's that fantastic 6-volt oval window Beetle that we saw driving in on the main road just a short while ago. Same for this Mark 1 Consul. I do like this, and again it's great to see it with its original registration and the old style plates as well. We do like that. You know, you see so many cars and sometimes the number plates just aren't quite right. But you'd have to be pretty picky to worry about that kind of thing. And here, a Series 2 Morris Minor. The early Series 2s had the cheese grater grille brought over from the late Highlight Morris Minors. And then after a short while, they went to this horizontal bar grille, which carried on for all the Morris Minors after that. This is a really smart 4-door car. I do like more doors. Some people prefer 2 doors, some people prefer 4 doors, but yeah, I'm with the 4-door bunch. I just think they look a lot more balanced, even if clambering in and out is a little bit less easy with the smaller doors of a 4-door, but I just think they look a little bit more balanced overall. This one's still got the correct rear wings on it with these larger wheel arch openings compared to the Morris 1000 that came along a bit later. Many of these cars, when they've been restored, they've been retrofitted with the later wings. They're probably easier to find. But it's good to see this one still on its correct rear wings, so that's good to see. It's a lovely car, real nice black paint finish on this one as well. Split windscreen on the Series 2, just like the MM before. Many badges. Many badges. Lots of Scottish badges as well. Scottish Morris Minor Owners Club. Scotland. The Morris Centenary. That's a nice one. St Christopher. What a bonny car that is. I do like the split window cars. I think they've got a lot of character. Got another TR3A over here with a fine pair of Lucas lamps, spot lamps on the front. We've got a little special here. Not quite sure what this is based on. It's got a Bentley badge, but it's not a Bentley. I'm sure someone will recognise this front end arrangement. It kind of rings a bell, but I'm not quite sure. Looks like fun. And over on the end here, here's that Ford Escort 100E Squire, the late Squire, the little side valve engine. Same capacity as the Citroen Ami Pop we were looking at before, but not the same engine. These have a water pump built in there on the front of the engine. The pop engine, the Citroen big pop engine at any rate, doesn't have that. But this is clearly based on it, and that engine, well, it goes right back to the early 1930s, and the Ford 8, the Model Y of about 1932. So Ford did very well out of these small side valve engines, produced hundreds of thousands of them over the years. Yeah, this is quite rare, being the wagon version. Very nice. The Squire was slightly more at market compared to the 100e Escort, but there's not a great deal in it. But I think these sliding rear side windows were a Squire thing. I'm not sure the 100e Escort had those. Of course, this body shell was very similar to that of the Thames 300e van, but the van had 2 opening side hinge doors on it. So there are a few differences, but yeah, the main body shell is shared with the Thames 300e. This is great, lovely condition. Okay, another row and another lineup of wonderful classic cars headed by this T-Reg rubber bumper MGB Roadster in Brooklands green, same colour as that factory development MGB we had until a year or two back. There's a 66 Pagoda Mercedes here, mid-green MGA Roadster over here with its bonnet raised, and it would appear to be supercharged. That's a bit different. What's this? The Judson rocker cover on it. But yeah, supercharged engine no less. That's a bit different. Yeah, nice. That's good. There's that Riley RM we saw driving in before. This is a 1.5 litre car. They also did the 2.5. Visually there weren't too many differences, especially as they're driving towards you. You just have to look at the shade of blue on the badge there, light blue, and you're looking at the 2.5. So if you see a light blue badge in your rearview mirror, you best let it through. If it's a dark blue badge and the 1.5 litre, well, you might just keep them at bay. The 2.5 was quite a perky motor car, especially for the era, surrounded by the likes of Ford Pops and Morris 8s, that kind of thing. A 2.5 Riley RM would leave it in its dust. Right, let's carry on along here. There's the two-tone Morgan. Like I said before, we've seen this one at the Swettenham Arms evening meet. Volvo 122S. We've got a 2-door car here. That's a 67. Got a couple of CB Oscar lamps on the front. Mini light wheel, genuine mini light wheels on this one as well. So the 122S twin SU carbs, probably manual overdrive gearbox. The 121 just had a single Stromberg, but the 122S had the twin carbs, probably a slightly different cam in it as well. Very nice. Here's the little Moggy convertible, bonnet raised, all looking very clean. Nice proper sticker there on the old style battery. I like that kind of thing. Very clean. Look at the coil and all that. Everything looks proper. You've got the proper plug lead caps, the old Champion plug caps, the Lucas 12 volt coil, the Tudor windscreen washer bottle. The devil is in the detail. There's a nice pair of Lucas lamps as well on that one. Right, always stick to the older cars. And the Mark 1 Mini here. This is the Morris Mini Minor, the Morris badge version. If I remember right, the very first Minis were actually Morris's, then Austin's, with the Austin 7 followed along shortly afterwards. Introduced in 1959, of course. That's a very bonny car, I like the colour of that one. Now we're on to 2-door Moggy 1000, the Morris Minor 1000 on an H plate. There's that Triumph Vitesse we saw on main A34 road, just outside the main display field here. Getting close to the commentary, so I'll try and speak over that. Here's the Triumph TR2. It's the only one of those we've seen here today, and they've got a TR3A alongside that. At first glance, pretty similar cars, but the 3A introduced such delights as a wider grille and external door handles. The TR2 doesn't have any of that business. Yeah, very similar cars, but this one is the evolution of that one. The Morris Minor Traveller over here, and on the end of the row, looking fantastic in a Curia Cos Racing Team Blue, is this Jaguar Mark II, the 3.8 litre car.
Have to be careful because our section to come in is sports cars and convertibles.
There's that glorious MG 1300 bonnet raised.
Again,
how
we will
immaculate
see this
is
car
that?
back to the car of the show.
Let's keep going down here. We've got a Vauxhall Viva HA.
I would say to you, can you please vacate the arena?
Carry on down here away
the next
from
section
the
to come in is sports cars
MGTF.
and convertibles. Now, sports cars are going to be two-seater,
Got a Mark 1
two-door,
Mini over
or
here with a few
2+2
goodies for sale
two-door
on the
four
grass
seats.
in front
Or
of
they
it.
could be
I might have to have a quick look in there, see if there's anything we
or they
need.
could be out and out,
A
sports
few
cars.
little gems in here. What have we got?
Coming in. I think it might be
Got a
rather
Morris Minor overrider. One of those little
sports car section.
accelerator pedal extensions for a Mini to allow you to heel and tow it. Who remembers the Paddy Hopkirk pedal extensions? Got a few nice little things in here. Some nice spanners in here actually. Austin branded spanners. Surprised Harley hasn't seen those yet, but maybe he has.
Nice. We'll leave the others in, because you never know. Peter might decide that one of the others...
Another Mini, and a few more bits and bobs for sale. We've got some gauges down here. Not that I need any gauges, but let's just have a look, see if there's any early ones. Nice Lucas ammeter. Smith's temperature gauge. It's all useful stuff. Oil pressure.
Some people call it Figaro,
Quite nice.
some call it Firago, and I never get the pronunciation right.
Carry on down here, we've got a Lotus Elan, the fixed head coupe version of the Elan. That's a beauty, that one. I do love these centre lock wheels.
Yeah, great. Now you've got
Oh, look at this. The Citroen Ami 6. I didn't see this one coming in. I'm a big fan of this. I'm not sure if the video will have gone out when you see this one, but we had a road trip to France in 2024. There is a video around of it. It may be on the channel, it may not be yet. And we visited this gentleman's garage, a gent called Alex, and he had one of these under a sheet in a corner of his workshop. And I do love these. The Ami 6 Berlin, with this so distinctive, the raked rear window on these is just incredible. This one's got the sunshade in it as well. These are just wonderful. I just love the shape of these. There's also the estate version available as well. So this is the Berlin Saloon. Yeah, what a cool thing that is. Air cooled, just like the Citroen 2CV. Isn't that fab? 1965. Just had a chat with the owner. He said open the door and have a look inside, so let's do just that. Let's just carefully open the door. Wow, I love these single spoke wheels in Citroens of this era. What a neat instrument binnacle. Isn't that great? I just love the slightly bonkers styling of Citroens of this era. These and the DS's and the SM. They were just incredibly creative in their designs. Surprising how the screen really wraps around actually. Lovely upholstery, the original mats, the original floor mats. So we like all that kind of thing. Yeah, that is really something. The proper Citroen rubber pedal covers as well. No, that is just beautiful. I love that. I could definitely run one of these.
Can we have you on the, we'll have to have you on the second row, sir.
Yeah, fantastic. There's that glorious Mercedes, the Fintail, or the Heckflosser, I think they used to call them in period. A real quality car, bit of a Bond baddie kind of car, 1965. And from a year later, 1966, we have this. Now this is the VX490 version of the FC Victor, or the 101 Victor. Yeah, quite a rare car this, the VX490. Different grille. We've got this different colour strip down the side as well. Most of the ones you see are based on the FP Victor, the shape before this. So this is probably particularly rare. Twin Zenith carburettors on this one. That's one of the upgrades that came in with the VX490. That's a properly rare car actually. Yeah, rare sight. Here's that. I'm not sure, it's like a copy evocation of the Austin Healey Anglia, two-toned Ford Anglia. Lovely car. Looks to be in really nice condition. Slightly wider steel wheels, but otherwise as Dagenham intended. And very, very low marque alongside that, from about late 67 or 68. The Austin Healey 100. I do like these. That's a very nice one. There's several different versions of the Austin Healey 100. I don't know my Austin Healeys well enough to know which is which, but I know I do like the look of them a lot. And here's that incredible Toyota Crown, the North Welsh registered Toyota Crown Estate. Such a rarity. How has this one survived, especially in what looks to be really original condition? Quite luxuriously appointed these were. This one's got an auto box column shift, automatic gearbox, everything vinyl, quite dark inside. Yeah. Quite ergonomic interior. Sort of the dash wraps around the driver, all the switchgear nice and easy labelled. No going through screens to try and adjust the temperature, not in one of these. That's just how it should be. Yeah. Okay, that is rare and useful too. That is just something else, that is. Toyo Glide, so that was the name for Toyota's automatic gearbox option in the 1970s. I don't remember these even in the day. Properly rare car. How has this one survived? Bit of info in the window of this one. First registered August 1973. Straight six, single overhead cam, 2.5 litre, 3-speed Toyo Glide, automatic gearbox. Bit of info there on the screen. Just pause the video if you want to have a proper read. There we go. Yeah, incredible. Super split window VW over here with the windscreen's open. We like a bit of that. And look at this over on the end here. Related to it, this is the Puma. This was a Brazilian built car powered by rear-engined air-cooled VW engine just around the back here somewhere. But yeah, this is a special import. It's on air suspension, this one. That is why it is so close to the ground. It's a pretty rare car. Very, very low, but it wouldn't have been that low when it was new. Left-hand drive. Of course, they never sold these here in the 1970s. I remember seeing, was it gold or bronze metallic one of these here just a couple of years ago, so to see a second one is pretty unusual. Ooh, the sun has come out, shining on this lovely little Mini, Mark III Mini, Mark II Escort rally car. Let's keep going while the weather is on our side. And this incredible Citroen DS on a J plate. Putting this one at about 1971, I would have thought. Citroen ID and DS Club of the Netherlands. So, has this one been around a bit maybe? Left-hand drive. Ooh.
I want to give
pretty wild styling, just like that Ami 6 we were looking at before. Citroen really did go their own way.
And his son, whose name I haven't got, but Richard, actual fact, has got a YouTube channel.
We're getting a shout out on the commentary.
Old classic cars. Now Richard's been going for 20 odd years, 25 years, and he was one of the first to put out a classic car channel.
Two Series 3 E-Types here, just while Les is giving us a bit of a plug on the commentary there.
You never see Richard on camera, and you don't see his son, but they have got a vehicle here as well. And but he takes some absolutely fantastic photography, and he seems to get some incredible images of these vehicles, whether they're parked up or whether. And if you're really interested and you want to see your car in a different light, if you like, on the telly, then go on to old classic cars.
There's that Rover P6, the V8,
quite entertaining.
And the Series 1 XJ6 alongside that.
How long you want to look at it, but some of them can be almost as long as a full-length feature film. But they are really good. The quality of the production is great, and I enjoyed looking at
big thanks to Les for the shout out on the commentary about the old YouTube channel. I don't know what he means about some of them are feature film in length. I can't imagine what he's on about there.
and can be a week, 10 days, couple of weeks, depending on the editing that he's got to do.
We've got an Alpine over here, the Renault-powered Alpine, the A310. As I've been reminded, the Triumph TR6 here, a very fetching shade of blue, complete with matching soft top. 2.5 litre straight six. Similar but 2 litre and straight six. Again Triumph. We have this Mark III Triumph GT6. I do like those, based on the Spitfire. Maserati, is that the Bora or the Merak? It's the Merak, this one, isn't it? Escort Mark 1 Sport, very bright green, very bright yellow, Triumph TR6. We like the colour of that one. Usually our bright yellow MX-5 is gracing the field here. Now we've got the Z3M. Occasionally you see the fixed head one of these. This is the open top, the roadster version of the Z3M with the M3 engine, big straight six, 326 brake horsepower, I think, something like that. Here's that incredible Lancia Monte Carlo. This is a Series 2 car, I'm reliably informed. Pininfarina badging on this one. It's a rare car, this is. It's rare to see one in such good condition. Opening roof on this one so we can have a peer inside.
Silvery grey metallic and another one in white. Again, two fabulous sports cars.
Ooh, very sharp looking car, very, very rare now. This one, early 1980s registration on that one. We've got the Alfa Romeo, the lovely Spider there. Beautiful, I do like the shape of these, especially with these cowls over the headlights as well. Now we've got Dolomite Alley, $3 here. We've got a white one, a blue one for sale. Here we are, classic car for sale, $5,950. Give Len a bell if you're interested in buying a dolly. Yeah, so what's that? Is that the 1850? I think it probably is. It looks like an 1850. Yeah, 1850 HL. Brown example alongside. I forget the colour. Is that russet brown? Might so. There we go. Russet exterior. There we go. Russet brown. 1500 HL saloon. Right-hand drive. Home market car. Date of build 14th of June 1977. Good, very comfy, practical four-door saloon of the 1970s. Now look at this Alfa GTV. Now that is one stunning looking car, set off by some period aluminium wheels on this one. But what a great shape, these 105 series GTVs. Lots of different versions of this basic body shell were produced, starting with a 1300 Junior and working your way up from there. 2000 GTV, some were 1750. 1600 engine was also available in this body shell, different models over the years. This is a 2000 GTV, and actually quite a late one on an M plate, so produced well into the 1970s, but look, probably a generation older than that. Absolutely stunning car. Definitely one of my favourite cars here today, and I'm sure the youthful assistant will concur with that opinion. In similar colour, this Mercedes 350 SL and an ex-Royal Air Force lightweight Land Rover over here, complete with essential pickaxe, spade, other bits and bobs. Yeah, the lightweight body on this one. You can see very different styling at the front compared to your regular Land Rovers. What a variety of cars here today. Wow, now here is that BMW E3, the 3.3 Li. This one is beautiful on Alpina alloy wheels. I love the shape of these. Such a large glass house, you know, the height of the windows, so deep. So you get a really airy cabin. This was, like I said, the top of the range car this was. And you get little goodies such as these headlamp wipers. A very luxurious car. This was a rival, I suppose, to Jaguar's XJ. Yeah, really handsome, understated car, built alongside or sold alongside the E9 coupes. Most of them are autos. I think all the 3.3s were probably all automatic, I would have thought. Fuel injection, I'm guessing that's Bosch mechanical fuel injection on these. I know Mercedes of this era had Bosch mechanical fuel injection. I'm guessing that's what this, the 3.3 Li, also had. What a beautiful car, and a great colour. That really sets it off a treat. remember visiting a mate of mine many years ago, and we went to see a friend of his, and there was one of these, a 3.3 Li, wedged in the corner of a garage, propping the wall up. It always seemed, even then, and this was 30 years ago, it seemed a bit of a shame just to see this 3.3 version sat there looking pretty sorry for itself. I don't think it's still there. But this is a very rare car now. Just, yeah. And that colour really does set it off.
Then there was another one here, and now this is. So you must have three.
Okay, let's carry on along here again, hunting down the oldies here at Capesthorne. Lovely TR6 alongside bright white MGB there. MGB GT is next. Make that two MGB GTs, this one with the recessed grille, which they didn't make for very long at all. Dad's GT has got that as well. Here's the Mark II Ford Consul. This one gets to quite a few of the classic cars we get to. It's a 124 Mercedes Cabriolet. There's that gigantic Granada gear estate. Very handy. There's the XJ40 with the 4 headlights. Some of those are 2.9, others are 3.6 litre. Then we've got a D-bumpered MGB GT, and on the end of the row here, this particularly fine Riley 1.5, particularly rare as well, because, as I've probably mentioned before, this particular car has a sliding steel sunroof, no less. That is a very rare option on these particular cars. This one dating to 1962. Just 3 cars on this row. Lovely pale blue GT there. The Reliant Scimitar SS1, the 1600 version. I think there was a 1300 as well. This one registered 1985 or early 86. Fiberglass body, of course. Reliant were famous for their fiberglass bodied cars, 3 and 4 wheel.
If you look under the bonnet post, it is absolutely stunning.
Over here we have a Capri, Terry McCann spec Capri, this one on a V plate, so what's that, about 79, that kind of era, complete with, well, it would have had a vinyl roof. This one's been painted.
However, if you have a car that was manufactured
2-litre gear.
before 1960,
Looks like we're going to go into the arena for the pre-1960s cars just as soon as all these later sports cars have made and vacated the arena. Harley's just primed up the fuel. Probably don't need to, but just saves churning away. There's that immaculate TR3A.
Austin Healey, that may be a 50s car.
Just waiting our turn. There goes the Silver Dawn. The gentleman who bought that at the recent Alton Park Gold Cup also has the Renault 4CV that occasionally we see at some of these do's. So we just need to gently edge our way out. But the Pilot is pretty quiet, so most people don't hear it coming. Ooh, it's just like being on a 50s Ford dealer forecourt. The V8 Pilot over there, and just a few years newer we have this 103E Pop alongside it, both side valve powered and both with roots in the pre-war era. The Pop, as I said before, can trace its roots back to the 1930s. The V8 Pilot, this was an anglicised version of the pre-war American Model 62. So yeah, they both have their roots firmly set in the pre-war years. So what else do we have here in the pre-1960 arena? We have the Rolls-Royce Silver Dawn that we just saw driving past, Triumph TR2, and alongside that the Evolution, so you can see the family resemblance, but a much wider grille on the TR3A. And like I say, external door handles were a feature introduced with the TR3A. Even the TR3 didn't have that. And what else are we going to get? Front row in the arena here. At least we didn't have far to drive because we were parked just over there, so that didn't use up much fuel. Oh, another classic Ford of the 1950s, a Ford 100E Squire. Many badges on the front of that one as well.
We had Richard from Classic Old Cars with us.
Harley's being interviewed for the commentary.
stuff, so I think it's pretty set in stone that I'm going to be doing this for a while now. And the car stuff, I've had Car Traction on my channel, doing a video today since 2020.
It's nice to have a quick chin wag with Les there on the old microphone. And there's that fantastic Chevrolet over here alongside our trusty V8 Pilot. Harley's diving in for a closer look at this magnificent car, and those that are parked behind, I think he's just clocked the Series 2 Morris Minor. Yeah, it's always good to see some of the older cars here, and these are the cars that we tend to focus on because older cars, sort of 70s and before, are really our favourites of all. But we always try and feature just a little bit of everything in the videos that we do on our respective channels, and there's some fantastic cars here today. Now, I hadn't spotted this one before when I was mooching around, the Bentley S1 Continental. That is a stunning car. I love this era of Bentley. If you've been watching Harley's channel recently, you'll know we were fortunate enough to get an invite to go and visit the Bentley factory on their heritage collection. So I really recommend you check that video out over on his Car Traction channel if you've not seen it yet, because that was a really enjoyable morning. So a big thanks to Bentley for putting that together for us, very much appreciated. But this era is just such a stylish car. And again, as I pointed out on many occasions, all the joins, there'll be joins here, the roof will join round here, but it's all been leaded over, giving a very smooth finish.
I was in the mechanical section for a little while, and one thing I had to do was to take the engine out to put a clutch in. And I was...
Right, this magnificent Chevy has won this particular class, so it's time to vacate the arena, and 60 to 1969 cars are coming in next. Pop is already moving.
It's great to have all superb vehicles here. We say goodbye to the 360s and we like to 1960 to 60.
Reversing the Pilot out.
1969. I'm running a good quarter of an hour behind time, and I keep on yakking. But it is great to see one of the unusual cars that we didn't get a chance to talk about was the Ford Squire, which is like an estate car, and it's based on the
TR2's also off.
And that's got to go back to the I think the late 50s, I would think.
Yeah. It's alright. Don't use it that often. Yeah.
We're back in position. The 100E Squire is just going back as well.
Absolutely great to see. Yeah, it is a Citroen Diane.
Oh, that great 122S is heading off into the arena for the 60s cars.
So where's the owner?
Sounds very purposeful, this one. Very tunable cars, popular in rallying, all that kind of thing. Came out in about 1956, I think these were launched.
The important thing is looking after the children. Come on.
Produced until the early 1970s.
Can we come on, where we can. But it's an exotic. I looked at it, is it a GT40? No, it's not a GT40. But what is it, sir?
It is a GT40.
Is it?
It's a 1967 Mark 1 GT40.
Is it? So I was wrong.
No, you were right.
I was right. Well, it just didn't add up to me. It just didn't add up.
I went for it. I had to have it. Yes.
I think that's absolutely fantastic. And I say, that is what the classic car or classic vehicle.
Austin Healey 3000. Is that the Mark III? Is that the Mark III? It is a Mark III with extra indicators on the front. Here's that much customised little van now. Is this, was it a Comma Cob that's been majorly modified, or it could have even started out as a Hillman Husky and it's been vanified? Don't quite know, but yes, many modifications under there. Here's that incredible, I think it's a Dodge A100, sort of late 67, early 1968, left-hand drive, presumably shipped in from the States at some point in time, left-hand drive, tinted windows in the back. It's pretty eye-catching, and there is the engine between the seats. Yeah, and you can do a tune-up without getting wet. Yeah. I love the wood effect on the dash. Very unusual vehicle, that one.
Great to have you here today. I wish you well with your.
While we are in American Corner, I can't not feature again this fantastic 55 Chevrolet Bel Air. That is just in perfect condition. I love old scratty original paint, preserved just like this one is here. Very similar paint finish to our 47 Dodge pickup back at base. But that's not just such an eye-catching car, and I do love a wagon. The styling is just incredible. Shortly before the huge fins came along, but sort of late 40s, early to mid 50s is one of my favourite periods of American cars. The big fins, fantastic as they are, aren't really me, but slightly more subtle styling of this era, slightly earlier cars. Yeah, I could definitely see myself with one of these. I love the curved rear side windows as well, just like those on an F-Type Vauxhall Victor, and indeed the Humber Hawk estates that also had very wraparound rear side windows as well. I love the lamp mounted on the windscreen pillar over here, and it doubles up as the rear view mirror as well. So this side is the mirror, and this side has an adjustable little lamp, and you can control that with that arm, that chrome plated thingy through there. So that allows you to light up unlit road signs at night when you're cruising around downtown LA in your wonderful Chevy wagon. Okay, muscle car corner over here, powered with a 440 Magnum. We have this Dodge Challenger RT in a very distinctive eye-popping colour scheme. Alongside that, a Camaro, Chevrolet Camaro. I do like a bit of that. I love the Coke bottle, the styling, the way the back arch, the back wing, the back fender humps up there behind the door. I just think it looks great. This one's a convertible, roof up. Very neat car again. Reminds me of some of my sort of Matchbox toy cars of the 1970s, and I'm sure many of you watching this video will have had similar collections of Matchbox cars in the 1970s. But this is my favourite of the muscle cars here today, the Pontiac Firebird. This is a 67, hence the F registration plate. That is one stunning car. Beautiful black paint, polished wheels, super straight bodywork. Black is such a difficult colour to get looking right. Again, the roof is blended in to the rear fenders. It just looks great. That was a pretty groovy interior as well. Automatic box, bucket seats. Just a really cool looking car, I think. This Mercury station wagon we have seen here before, parked pretty much in this exact same position. And again, it looks super original, proper survivor car as they would call it in America. Original paint, a few little scuffs of marks here and there, as you'd expect of a car from the 1950s, but it's all the better for that. Nice sliding rear side windows. So as the Chevy had fixed, very curving wraparound rear side windows, this has got flat glass but opening, so a bit of added ventilation. So that's always very welcome. But yeah, pretty groovy car. And look at the speedometer, the instrument cluster in there. I hope you can see that through the window. That's a pretty wild shape. Right, let's just carry on round here because there's a car I really, really wanted to look at, and it is this Cadillac Fleetwood. Now, what year is that? It's kind of that sort of late 40s, very early 1950s shape. A shape that I really do like. I'm not sure, sometimes there's a clue on the license plates. This one doesn't say any year date on it. But yeah, still huge, but just classy. Look at that. Lovely interior, left-hand drive, of course. Quite a big clock just on the right-hand side, on the passenger side. Yeah. Split window, great view down that long bonnet. Cadillac was definitely one of the upper market marques over in the States at the time. This is a four-door sedan, lovely looking car. Look at the chrome on that. That is just incredible. What a fantastic, stunning looking car. Look at the mascot as well. Everything about speed, of course. Jets, the jet age in the aircraft world was all kicking in just about this time. Aircraft such as the F-86 Sabre, that kind of thing. Yeah, the space race, all that. It was all going on at the time, and that really did inspire a lot of the styling that went into aircraft, car design throughout the 1950s, culminating in cars like this 58 Buick over here, which was just spectacular. There's no other word for it, really. That is just incredible. Even if these big finned cars aren't really your thing, it's just a hugely impressive, incredibly well thought out, the design. And the other thing to remember is when you see these cars, oftentimes these designs would only last for one season, and then the following year, so in this case the following year in 1959, the car will be all different again. So it must have been a nightmare for the dealers to stock parts for all these cars when they were changing year on year. And there were so many different variations. We've got a 4-door sedan here, you have 2 doors, all kinds of variations. And then next year you'd start all over again. Totally different stock of spare parts needed because the car would undergo usually quite a significant redesign for the new season. So that must have made it very exciting working in the American car dealerships back in the 1950s. There's that pretty mad Chevy Corvair. Well, it's like a camper almost, isn't it? It's amazing. Engine under the rear floor, air-cooled flat 6 in the Chevrolet Corvairs. That's pretty wild. Another Volvo Amazon, this one in dark green. TVR 350i, the Rover V8 engine under that fiberglass nose. There's that great M535i BMW, the E28 5 Series. We see this one here most times we come here. We didn't come to the last meeting here at Capesthorne, but we came to the one before. Let's have a quick scoot around here, see what gems we can see. There's a Sierra there, the Rover 3.5 SE, the SD1. One of the best colours for those, I think. There's that Mini with the Rally Chopper. Is that one of the later issue Rally Choppers? I don't remember them in silver. There's the V6 engine in the Scimitar SE6A. Well set back. The old Ford engine. There's the Scimitar GTC, the convertible version of the same car. Plenty of room, enough room for the spare wheel in the front. Such is the layouts with the engine set right back. Oh, we got a Saab 16S, the 16 valve Saab 900. This one's got the slopey front on it. The earlier ones had the flat front. 900 was launched in 1979. 2 litre, just a smidge under 2 litre engine in capacity. It's an exhaust. It's the exhaust-driven turbo. The turbo's just down there. This is a 16 valve. There was also the 8 valve before this. That was 145 brake, although if you had the 8 valve you could put water injection on it and that would increase it to about 175 as well. Same for the engine in the 99 turbo. Yeah. Happy memories of owning one of these. I had a mid-80s 900 turbo 3-door. Dad had one of the first 5 doors from 1979. Both of those were 8 valve cars. This is the 16 valve. Pretty cool. I like the body kit on these and the very distinctive wheels. Nice car. Such a wraparound screen as well. That's one of the really distinctive features of these 900s and the 99s that came before. It's a very wraparound screen. I'm being harassed by a wasp. Little bugger's trying to get in my ear. Right, and this one's got the optional rear wash wipe on the hatchback as well. This is a fairly late example. This is the 900S. So this had the low pressure turbo version of the 16 valve unit. So this was about 145 brake, same as the earlier 8 valve turbos. And then there was the full pressure turbo, which had the 175 brake horsepower. The driver's eye view doesn't change much, although I believe these 900Ss didn't have a boost gauge on the right, whereas the full pressure turbo cars do have the boost gauge. Other than that, not a great deal of difference apart from slightly less powerful.
And then yes, in 55 the ones at the end with hydraulic suspension, but also with the
Up at this end of the field are the much later cars. Some of them are probably a little bit new, to be honest, for this channel, the old classic car channel, but we'll have a quick dash around just in case something leaps out, just to give an overall flavour of the event as a whole. Let's carry on. It's almost jacket off weather, it is. There's a midget 1500, there's a little mini Sprite, one of so many limited edition minis that Austin Rover brought out in the 1990s. This is that rare Mazda MX-6, the V6 power, 2.5 litre. You don't see too many of these around. Let's carry on looking around here. Little Suzuki Jimny there. There's that 5 Series, we like those. Lotus Elise. Like that Nissan Bluebird earlier on, another car in these were everywhere once, but they've all disappeared. There's this little Hyundai. Is it an Accent or an S-Coupe? Not quite sure, probably an Accent maybe. But yeah, these sort of cars used to be all over the shop. Yeah, the Accent Coupe, so we were both right. There you go. We'll keep going around here. What have we got? Mercs, Freelander, Alfa Romeo, the V6, transversely mounted V6 in these. These sound fantastic when they're given the beans. Love these polished intakes here as well. There's the 840 Ci, the V8 8 Series Beamer, the Rover 45. These early Focuses are starting to become collectible now. The Mark 1 Focus, good steer by all accounts. Here's the Fiat Spider, the Abarth version of the Fiat Spider, based on the MX-5 apparently. There's our Rover 75, a few other cars up there, Clio, Saxo, Mitsubishi Evo next to the Sierra, MG ZT, which is the MG-fied version of the car alongside it, the Rover 75. Yeah, they're quite neat those are, aren't they? And the Rover 75 here, this one with the V6 engine. Very late 75 with the revised front end, 2005, so that's got to be one of the last Rovers. It runs on a much earlier W plate, but you can see the earlier styling of that one compared to these later, almost run-out models, I suppose you call it. Nearly 20 years old now, that. And a Mercedes G-Wagon, Honda Prelude, and the Merc 190E on the end there. We've got Aston DB7 amongst them, the Audi TT, Future Classic possibly, Golf-based, the E36 BMW 3 Series Cabriolet, and a Mark 3 MX-5, TVR Griffith. It's a Pucker Classic now, built up in Blackpool of course. Mark 2 MX-5 over here. One of those slab-sided Merc S-Classes, is that the W140 I think? But I could be wrong, correct me in the comments if I am, but I think that's a 140 Series S-Class. That's a 280. The 2.8 litre straight 6 in that one. And yeah, just a variety of much later sports cars enjoying the sun over the back here at Capesthorne Hall. There's a very bonny little Fiat 500, left-hand drive. I think they all are, aren't they? Yeah, the Cinquecento from the late 1960s. These Lancia Delta Integrales are certainly very purposeful looking cars. So successful in World Rally Championships in the early 1990s. I remember these going through Clumber Park, Chatsworth House as part of the Lombard RAC Rally circa 1992, 1993. We used to go and see those cars, the Martini liveried cars. This is a beauty. If you buy one of these, do all the usual checks and also check the back of the roof, because they're unusually for a car they're prone to rusting on the back of the roof. Look at this, classic cars are still arriving. Got a Vauxhall Viva HB here, a 4-door Viva HB. Oh, it's quite a late arrival. Another great Chevy Camaro over here. There's a glorious Mercedes-Benz 190. Very nice too. Left-hand drive. I can hear the fruity bark of a twin cam Alfa Romeo. Here it is, appropriately registered 6 GTV. Another one of the 105 series cars, but that is, yeah, I love the look of those beautiful little cars. XK is departing. Audi Quattro is arriving. This one about 84, early 1985. Again, just like this Lancia here, such an iconic rally car of its era. These really changed the face of rallying forever, the four-wheel drive Quattros. Driven by the likes of Walter Vroel, Michel Mouton, Stig Blomqvist, all those guys. They rallied those with huge success. Another limited edition Mark 1 MX-5. This is the Glen Eagles edition apparently. A year or so later than ours. Ours is on an M-Reg 1995. So this is the Glen Eagles. Lots of upgrades in this one. It appears to have leather seats. Some extra walnut style trim down the middle there. Nice shiny handbrake lever and gear knob. Whether that's original or, I mean, there's so many accessories you can buy for these. It's hard to see a totally standard factory supplied spec MX-5 now. There are so many upgrades you can buy for these, whether it's wheels, spoilers, tuning parts, interior bits and bobs, strut braces under the bonnet, all sorts of modifications. So yeah, to see a completely unmodified car is actually probably quite unusual now. I'm suddenly feeling exhausted. Porsches and other modern German-ish cars along here, but my eye is drawn to this spectacularly coloured Porsche 911E from the early 1970s. What a crazy 70s colour that is. North Wales registered, just like that Toyota Crown that we saw just a little while back. EY, I think it's Anglesey or somewhere over that neck of the woods. Yeah. Very, very interesting looking car. This one right-hand drive. Very nice.
Very, very clean. 2 Mazda MX-5s in there.
Over here we have a round arch MG Midget from about 72, 73. But what is a round arch MG Midget? Well, there we go. This have the round arches at the rear, the RWA versions. They produced these for a little while and then they reverted to the squarer rear arch section on the later cars. I think it's something to do with it's a little bit stronger having the square section rear arches as opposed to the curved one that you just saw there. Rear door open on the rear engine Chevrolet Corvair. Quite a high load floor here because the engine is hidden under there, the air-cooled flat 6. It's hidden away under this carpeted area here. Really, really, really something. We've got some wind down windows so we can have a proper peer inside. Side access door over there. Twin doors, in fact, allowing us a good view of the Bel Air wagon alongside.
Pocket seats.
Yeah. Very neat. It's not every day you see one of these Corvairs over here. Windows open on this Ford Thunderbird, so I have to have a quick peer in at one of the unique features of this car. This swing out of the way steering column. This was to allow people of a portly stature to exit and enter their Thunderbird in relative grace. You'd swing the steering wheel out of the way and then you could clamber out. When you clamber back in, then swing the steering wheel back in front of you. So that was one of the features of these. And those non-politically correct days they'd call them the fat boy steering wheel, but obviously we can't call them that now. But that's quite a novel feature of these old T-Birds. Glorious AC Ace.
I do about you now. Na na na.
Around this part of the world, you hopefully see Jordan again.
There's that lovely AC Ace. It's quite an early one, this, I think. Triple SU carbs on this one. What a beauty that is. I think we saw this one at Vauxhall Hall, 1955.
We're running a little bit late, folks, but are we bringing the bikes in, Peter? Yeah, right.
1955 AC Ace. It would be this car that would be taken and modified by Texan Carroll Shelby. Shoehorn the Ford V8 into it, and that's what became the AC Cobra. This is the original AC Ace. And what a fantastic car it is. Very swoopy, lovely looking car. Interestingly, still transverse leaf. Front suspension, very much similar to our old V8 Pilot.
Fabulous classic vehicles. I can see some wonderful people here today, and we've had the band. Peter's going to take a cursory look over again as well. And that trike is the gentleman with a trike still here, and he wants to bring that in. Well, great, bring them in.
Massively, yeah.
Well, I think it's better to do that and put it in the bank.
To be honest, yeah. Well, I'll buy one and do it up.
Come back and see us next year. Notice you got 22.
Ooh, another old Citroen. I didn't see this one before. The Citroen Diane. I think these were mooted to be the replacement for the Citroen 2CV, but that never happened. And these form the basis for the Cadillac van. So it's a slightly more refined version, I guess, of the 2CV.
So it's more electric start. Definitely not, but it does start.
Very similar air-cooled engine under the front of that one. This one on an S-plate. Probably rarer than the 2CV now, I would have thought. This one's got the window louver in the back window as well.
It's great to have it here today. How long have you been?
4 years.
It's great. Now, is this your being ridden?
When we were in Normandy recently, we happened across the Citroen DS looking a little quiet at the side of a road, and it had an interesting extra set of lamps. In this panel here, there was like a Perspex clear cover here with a big yellow lamp either side. And I wasn't quite sure what that was all about. If you haven't seen the France video yet, please check that one out after this one. And if you know what the story is with those extra lamps that we saw on this car in France, please let me know in the comments. Ideally, the comments with that particular video, because I'd be interested to know what the story is with those. Got the window open, so let's have a quick peer in here.
Your name, sir?
Incredible interior. Pretty wild, single spoke steering wheel, just like that Citroen Ami 6 that we were looking at a little bit earlier today. What an incredible car.
Jimmy, do you use it as a day machine or a mode to transport?
Talking of that Citroen Ami, there it is again. Let's have another, just a very, very quick look at this incredible looking car.
It's just a pleasure. No, it's not for show. It's just.
You go off and I'll nick it off you. Bit of inner leads. Like that. That's right, yeah. For stability. Well, fortunately, it gets around this one quite often. It's a green slide. Yeah, lightweight, handles fantastic. Down there, which of course is British. So, what about the BSA now? That's yours. That was built from a load of rubbish free on shed. Well, I used to use that more years ago when
Three abreast seating in these Matra Murinas. I remember as a youth in about 1980, just down the road there used to be one of these parked up in a driveway in occasional use. Yeah, it's the only one of these I ever saw back in period. The window is open so we can have a quick peer inside. And there you can see three abreast seating, although unlike the McLaren F1, the driver doesn't sit in the middle in these. It's left-hand drive, this car. But yeah, interesting. And there's the mid-engine layout.
around, having some food or something like that, and you've got a Mercedes, whether it's parked up by the hall or whether it's out in... And it's registration number YPL.
Yeah, because there was a Pete Stevens, which is this one.
Challenge for you. How about doing a couple of laps very steadily around?
Time for all the Mercedes to come into the arena. There's that SEC, the two-door coupe version of the 126 series. But this is the car I really wanted to feature, this Ponton era Mercedes of the 1950s, the pre-Fintail Mercedes. Not quite sure if this is a petrol or a diesel, but it's a beautiful car in black. It's a two-stroke motorbike just next to me. There's the 190 SL.
Cabriolet. Another cabriolet just coming quite a lot now with convertibles coming in.
Beautiful, beautiful.
This is good to see. A 420 SEC. A Mercedes, a later Mercedes now, is a 220.
Hello, it's great to see you again. It's good to be alive, but it's good to be anywhere, really.
I like it.
You still got the sense of humour, haven't you?
Oh, I like that ages ago. And your hair.
We like the modern ones and we like the old ones.
You've got, 1955 one there, haven't you?
That's the old Ponton. There were taxis all around the world. If you go for holiday in Cyprus or Greece, they end up with one of those that have done God knows how many 100,000 kilometres. In fact, millions of kilometres. And Mercedes-Benz found it and bought it off him.
The brand itself?
We are indeed, yes. This is the Mercedes-Benz club, and it's recognised by the German Mercedes-Benz company, and there are clubs associated with the German make around the world. The UK club is not...
Most of the Mercs are probably a bit too new for the channel, but over in the corner here, this one definitely qualifies. This W123 Saloon on a Y registration, finished in grey. Now, different variants of this were produced over the years. I'm guessing this is a 230E or a 280E. I promise I haven't been around the back to have a look at the badging. I know the headlamps are slightly different on the entry-level 200 series. This has got a passenger door mirror, which I guess was probably an optional extra. As Mercedes were very fond of making as many things as possible extra cost options. This is a 230E. Fuel injection as well, but a real quality car, really well built old car. This is very, very nice. 40 odd years old, and this should soldier on for another 40 very easily, I would have thought, with just a bit of fairly simple maintenance. It should keep going for, well, it should go on forever pretty much. Porsche 968 over there, that was an evolution of the 944.
Sorry, because if you want one, they will post it to you, because you might find it difficult to carry it on the machine, on the back of the machine. So if you do a motorcycle, if you want to purchase a frame, you have to come and pick it today, choose your photograph today, and also advise, of course, if you are a motorist or a classic vehicle enthusiast that's had your Capesthorne Hall, then they will send it to you if you wish, but you'll have to order it from here. That's all I can see of it now. I spoke quite some length about that fabulous Lotus in the arena, not of late, and I can't remember.
It is, it's imported from Jersey, brand new, yeah. I bought it, but it came over here in 2004 from a dealer.
Now we know it's an 80s vehicle, but what year?
83. Never been worked on, never had any paint work done on it. It's absolutely as it came from the factory.
Right. Now, coming from Jersey, you would expect it to have some sort of corrosion aspects because of the salt.
You'd think so, but I think they must have been kept in the garage because there was no moss or anything on the rubbers. You don't need them. Well, hopefully you don't, but they are out there.
Fortunately, we don't get the opportunity to talk to everybody. Has it stopped? At the show by 4 o'clock. Hopefully we will do that without any issue. Are you not fine? All from 1990. I think that's a Jaguar XK.
Absolutely fantastic.
Well, they're all, of course, MX-5s.
They are indeed, yeah. Competition for the 124 Spiders. Although not, this is a lot more shinier than the 124 Spider.
Here comes the super little Ami 6.
7, are you? Oh, you're a big 7, aren't you? Now, do you like going out in the car?
It's fantastic.
Now you're sitting in the passenger seat. So at one stage, later on, when you get a big boy, do you think you know it well?
It was built February 24th, 98. Uni took me to the pub.
There goes the 108.
Oh yeah. So it's lived a life. It's ready for a bit of thorough restoration, but it's
quarter of 20 minutes, come and back up to the PA desk and help us choose the car of the show. But for now, can I ask you all to vacate the arena and thank you for taking part. Hopefully you've all had an exhibition pack.
Off goes the 103E.
I know a number of you have decided to leave a little bit. I've got the list there, Peter. Have we got the list of the winners? Yeah, there we are. Let me go through them then. Tom, can we have you down? We got the AK Cobra replica. We've got the Triumph TR3. We've got the 1929 Chevrolet. Citroen D Super. Can we have you, Turbo? Can we have you in? The TR. And the Esprit, can we have you over by the Citroen? Can the Esprit go over by the... Brilliant, thank you. Right, the Mercedes is coming in. Is that an Escort coming in as well? Can I have a look? Yamaha, oh that's a bike. The Mini Cooper we've got. Over there, you've all had a great day here today, I guess. Let's have some of you, let's have all around the arena. So I've got to do some presentations as well. I've got to do some thank yous. But I'm going to ask some of you to tell me what you think ought to be the car of the show. Now, can we get the Chevrolet in at the end over the side there? Can we get him right in the... Can we get you over in the far corner?
Well, things are starting to wind down here at Capesthorne Hall. Car of show is currently being judged over the way there, all individual class winners, but I think we will start packing up. So thank you so much for watching this video here at Capesthorne Hall for August 2024. There's been some wonderful cars here, quite a few cars we haven't seen before, so that's always nice. So thank you so much for watching. Please give the video a like, leave a comment, let me know which car you'd like to take home. Subscribe if you're not already, and there'll be loads more classic car videos along very, very soon. So bye for now.
Right then folks, now we don't want the bonnets up.